Hello Goblins, it's Chris, Eldritch Pipes, with a tobacco review and a few other little bits and pieces. I did an interview last week with the Pipe Magazine podcast. That was a lot of fun, and I think it's out now, so I will try to pop a link if I can find one at the bottom of this video. The other thing is that the all the Black Edition tentacle tampers are shipped now. So I'm taking orders for the Leprous Coral Edition, which I will show you now, which slightly explains this slightly different lighting setup, because I needed to be able to turn them off to show you this tamper. So I turn that one off. Camera's going to go a bit weird. Here she is. The Leprous Coral Edition. Now, of course, cameras don't quite give you the truth. The camera is reacting quite wildly. It's not quite as bright as it looks. Let's see if I can get it to adjust. That's a bit better. So, we're taking pre-orders for this this tamper, and these guys are going to ship. These guys are going to ship on the 16th of September. So if you want one, then email me at devilsreef@gmail.com, or you can find me on Instagram, or find me on the Speakeasy forums. Let me turn the lights back on. And that's what she looks like in daylight. A leprous pale green. Because that's now in pre-order, I'm going to give you, just you guys, a little preview of the next edition, which is the Abyss edition. I don't know if you know that James Cameron film, one of my favourites. But if you remember the aliens in that film, they use water, they can shape water. And I wanted to do something that evoked that idea. So once the Leprous Coral has shipped on the 16th, the Abyss edition will be available to pre-order then. So let me show you what those look like. So a clear water crystal blue, I guess you would call it. I'll make an announcement when those are up for pre-order, but it'll be a week or two. Okay, so after I did a review of Skiff Mixture, people were asking, was there anything else that was a strong, bold Latakia blend? And there is. This time it's not an English blend, it's an American blend. It's a GLP's blend. I don't believe I've reviewed a GLP's tobacco before. I don't know if I've said, but he or C&D, who sort of produce his blend, they tend to use a component that irritates me, and I find that I can't smoke them, even though quite a few that I've tasted I really like. I really like Meridian, I really like Gaslight, but I just couldn't smoke them. Something in them, some component just isn't good for me. This is perfect, and it is Pease Westminster. If you're a Latakia fiend, you should be smoking this blend. It is just a Virginia Oriental Latakia blend. This is the cut, kind of, what can you call it? The C&D cut. You know what I mean. You can't really call it a ribbon. It's in very small pieces. I suppose in that sense a little evocative of McClellan, but they would usually have larger. They didn't chop quite so finely. So this is like a really, I don't know what to call it. They might call it a ribbon cut, but it's not a ribbon cut. Not as we would think of in the UK. And this is it's a regal, forget about the cut, doesn't matter because it's the blend that matters. It's a regal blend. It is Latakia, like front and centre. This is a dark Latakia, bordering to bitter. This isn't a sweet blend. It's a herbal, savoury blend. And the Orientals are there, sort of behind the Latakia. If the Virginias are there, they're just like have been completely dominated by the Orientals, but the Latakia, because there's just every puff. It's full on, which is wonderful. On the tongue, I mean, it's so rich that on the tongue it goes to the meaty barbecue sort of richness. Or maybe a sort of a bitter coffee would be a better way of putting it. But it's rich, it's quite dense. This is one of those blends that after it gets halfway, it does, that bitterness sort of builds and builds. This is probably one of those blends that I tend to not finish the bowl on, because by the time you get to the last third, for me then it starts to get a bit much. I do like my Latakia rich and strong, so maybe for me to smoke a bowl of this, it would be in a smaller pipe. This pipe is it's not especially deep, but it's wider than normal. I bored this one out a little bit wider than I normally do. I think it's something like, I can't remember what it is now in metric. I use imperial so often now. But 7/8 I think I brought this out to. But yeah, it's a really, if you like Latakia, you'll love this blend. If you don't like Latakia, then steer clear, because it's a Latakia powerhouse, I would say. Not exactly a lap bomb, but nearly. It's nearly there. I'm not exactly sure where the full richness comes from, because I don't know if you've ever tried smoking pure Latakia. Buy some Latakia for blending and just smoke it on its own. You're probably thinking that's a crazy thing to do, but actually if you do, you realise that Latakia itself is not that overpowering, I don't think. I think it's quite a soft tobacco, all things considered. But when it plays properly with the right orientals, it does become like a smoky barbecue powerhouse. And this one is. But so if that sounds like what you're into, Pease Westminster is the way to go. I can't think of another blend right now. Maybe Squadron Leader. I've got to revisit Squadron Leader actually. I know I did Skiff Mixture on the last one. I've got to try Squadron Leader again and see how they compare. But anyway, that's my review. 2 thumbs up for the Latakia freaks. All right, that's me done. I've still got about a couple of weeks left in this shed. The new workshop is having the electrics fitted at the moment, or is shortly to have the electrics fitted. So I think I was just saying I've got a few weeks left here, but the move will begin very shortly. I just don't know what to expect. But I'll fill you in as things happen. Until then, take it easy, have a good one, and stay weird.